Thank you all for joining us. We're going to go through and talk to each of the panellists in just a second to get a bit of an idea about what their background is, who they are, what experience they're bringing to this forum. But I thought we'd start, first of all, by getting an idea of who you all are and what your interests are, so that way we can kind of direct these guys about the answers that they're going to be giving to your questions and make sure that they're hitting the mark for you guys as well. Who of you guys, who feels positive about the opportunities that your perception of what the opportunities are for you once you've finished school? Who feels positive about it? Okay. I think it's an important question, and it's something I think that a lot of these answers are going to kind of hopefully build your confidence or give you ideas about how you can, direct yourselves towards opportunities today. So hopefully that is going to be the main theme. And on that, I might just go along the line here. So first, Ishtar.
Sure. So my name's Ishtar Vij. I lead public policy and government affairs for Google across Australia and New Zealand. It is a really exciting space to work in. Our focus is spending a lot of time thinking and talking about what the web and technology mean for society and the economy. I had that background where I left school and thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a law degree and figure it out later. And I think that what we're seeing now is that increasingly the degree that you do when you're not sure what to do, that degree is increasingly computer science. And there's some really interesting developments happening internationally. So you've got a number of universities in the US, for example, who are offering law plus computer science, or even music plus computer science. So we're in a really exciting space where there's so many possibilities, so much to be thought about and done in terms of what technology and the web means for every different industry and sector. So I just encourage you all to follow your passion and combine it with CS.
What's exciting to me in the United States that's happening right now is there is a whole field about innovation that looks at it from totally different angles and is trying to break down both through fun ways of thinking about things and processes that we can take that can make anybody more innovative and creative. And I'll just give you one example of that, which is an interesting, it sounds very simple, but when you actually apply it, it becomes very complicated. And especially in a group setting, like if you had a lot of people like this, a way to sort of help to shape a discussion is a simple process called rosebud thorn. And as people are throwing out ideas or discussions, if it is something that is immediately can be, everybody agrees, wow, that can be done right now. There's nothing stopping us from doing this. That would be a rose. If it's a great idea, but everybody says, oh, well, that has this problem and has that problem, or there's this challenge, or it's not ready yet, or it's not this. But everybody kind of agrees, boy, if you could do that, that would be a great thing. It becomes a bud. And if everybody says, well, wait a minute, that's just a problem, becomes a thorn. And as you put these things up on the board and you sort of just break them down into those three things, you'd be amazed how you can take 30 people, which without that simple structure of the dialogue could take them 3 hours to get to the same place that they get to by using that exercise. They get to about the same place. It's been tested in about 18 minutes as opposed to sort of a 3 hour. So, ways that you can, accomplish innovation without necessarily, that can be totally out of the box, that can be maybe from the liberal arts side of the house, where that example came from.
In terms of opportunities for all of you, you're like gold at the moment. I mean, we talked about it a bit this morning, there's a global demand for science skills, for STEM skills. So I think the figures were something along the line of, that 75% of the top growing careers are in STEM careers, and they're growing at twice the rate of non-STEM careers. But at the same time, and I understand where you're coming from in terms of an angst about what do you choose and what do you factor in or out. Don't get too caught up in that at the moment, I think, because one of the things they say is
You know, primary school students starting today, 65% of the jobs they end up taking up haven't yet been created. So it's a very dynamic playing field. It's a lot changing, but I think your passion for science and technology and engineering maths is absolutely wonderful. I wish I could have done some things a bit different looking back and taken up more of the STEM, but yeah, it's a wonderful industry to work in. I can't commend it highly enough.
Probably in terms of my background and then trying to relay why the STEM environment is very exciting and want to move into, I'll probably go for the angle of multidisciplinary variation in a career and a career reinventing itself as a possibility if you're in STEM. And I often hear that you know, the model moving forward compared to say 20, 30 years ago where most people were trained in a profession and then entered that job until the day they retired, most people now can expect to radically be in different professions along the way. I'd argue that ability, and on one example, I think that's been there for STEM for a long time already. And it does allow for travel, different environments, continual learning, so I think it's a very stimulating environment to be working in.
It's a happy accident that I'm in a STEM, an industry, computer science industry. And I've been at Microsoft for 12 years. I've had, so 12 years versus 3. You could say I'm institutionalized. But in this industry, I probably am a little bit. Someone told me I was very Microsoft-esque before. I wasn't quite sure what that was. If anyone wants to give me some feedback, that's fine. And I have had 5 very different jobs at Microsoft, and every job's been more interesting, more challenging, and I've learned a lot. And as I do more, I get exposed to more, and I'm inspired by science.
I actually got headhunted to go and work for a company that was called Australian Defence Industries. And it was a company that ran all of the former government-owned ammunition factories, vehicle factories, dockyards, etc. We developed an armoured vehicle from an idea on a whiteboard to an operating prototype in under a year. And we had some remarkably smart people help us do that. And let me tell you, they were all engineers, the whole lot of them. And it was a real privilege to lead a team like that. So if you're going to manage people like that in the future, it's a real advantage in having a math, science, technology background. You don't have to be, you know, a detailed technologist, but my God, it helps.
There's a fellow that I think is Melbourne-based. He was a warehouse storeman. Started building apps in his part-time, and he's now got one of the top 10 apps, or he did for 6 months last year, and it's now his full-time profession. And he hadn't done any computer science or IT. He just went this was kind of like a tinkering passion, and then it's become now a full-time job, and we're seeing more and more of that. People get at any stage, and it's never too late.
We've employed people recently that come from tier 1 universities through to not being university. In particular, if they've built apps or other things in their own time and demonstrated they've got that ability combined with interviewing very well. So I think personal soft skills, communication skills are another side to build up, which was talked about either earlier this morning or today, to complement not only once you get to the work environment, but getting there in the first place.
So I just wanted to ask the opportunity and what jobs you could do in engineering studies as a female.
At Google, so we've got about 450 engineers in our Sydney office, and we are working really hard to make the percentage of female engineers, women engineers, higher and higher, and it's a really clear focus of ours. So we're actually really working with the female engineers that we have to understand what it is that makes the work environment really great for them to come to every day, what would inspire people to study STEM and to come through those career paths. So look, the answer is it is entirely a meritocracy, and any job that you want to do in that engineering space is completely open to you in the way that it would be to anyone else. And we are certainly, in fact, trying to hire more women across all areas, but especially engineering.
Do you think building your communication skills is something that can be taught in the classroom, like doing combining a law degree or a history degree or a philosophy degree with a STEM degree, or do you think it's the kind of thing that you need to do by going into the workplace and just being around people and working on skills and hands-on?
I think it's
Everything.
I think it's a bit of both. And I think the other thing, you know, similar to that, having a curious mind and a curious nature, the other thing that's going to be really important is to be prepared to be a lifelong learner. You know, the world is changing so quickly, and what you might want to do will change as time goes by. We've all had pretty circuitous routes through our careers, and it's a similar thing with communication. The particular skills you're going to need at a different point in time are going to shift and change. So learning as much as you can about how to communicate effectively, verbally, in writing, presenting when you're at school is really important. Building on that and understanding how to apply those skills in different circumstances just continues as you go through uni and then hit the workplace.
But there are some challenges in just representation in our society. The stat I was going to share was around movies, and that to show a mixed crowd, the MO is 13. You have to have at least 13% women, and that looks like a mixed crowd, as in female, balanced female to the human eye, and all those things. They carry on into what we expect in the world, and so we have some, and it's hotly debated internally. I think we've moved to a point of acceptance and passion around it. We have goals every year around how many females we want to attract into leadership roles, into technical roles, into the business more generally. But unless we do that, we won't change things. I think there's a whole lot of issues that we have to take some firm action to make a difference. It's still a meritocracy, absolutely, but we have to work really hard to find talented ladies.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you to all of our panellists. Perhaps a positive note to end on there.
I do, and it's going to piggyback on Graham's closing comments this morning. You know, I think a lot of us tend to think of history being an ever-rising line. And being a student of it and thinking about it a lot in my life, I find that history doesn't go like that. It's more a story like this. I would argue we're at one of the peaks right now. The people who walked on the moon are still alive. You know, in my lifetime, we have decoded the human genome. We have, if the printing press launched the age of reason, what is the internet, as was correctly pointed out, gives each of you in your pockets more access to information that humans have ever had over that 6,000 years of history. So you are living at one of the great peaks of human history. And not only does that mean incredible opportunities for you, but it also means incredible responsibility. Because what got people out of the Dark Ages? It was because they looked backwards long enough to Greece and Rome and said, wow, that's what humans can accomplish. And they did it again in what was called the Renaissance. So it is important. We can't presume that all history is going to remain on this plateau of a peak. There may come a dark valley in the future. And I think those of us who are living at those peaks have a special responsibility to the future, to build a lighthouse that is so bright it will shine out no matter how deep and dark whatever chasm will come, so that our species will always remember and look and say, you know what, that's what humans can do. So you all have the most exciting years in front of you, and the miracles that have been accomplished just in my generation are going to be doubled and tripled by yours. And so enjoy that and appreciate that, but also know it does come with that sense of responsibility. So thank you all for participating so much today. Thank you for bringing your spirit of innovation and for thinking and helping us to think, how can we make the lighthouse all the higher? Thanks.